How's it going, guys? This is DAF'D. Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, if you dig this video, if you dig other videos, please think about subscribing and definitely hitting that like button. It's a very, I would love to say it's a new channel. It's actually not that new of a channel. It just doesn't have that many views. But you guys can help that. You guys can actually watch the stuff that I've done for it. But enough of the begging. Just jump right on into it. A lot of the return viewers will notice that the weapon of choice is always the Stedler 2mm lead holder, loaded with HB lead. Pretty much the one that comes with it. Gotta say, it's lasted a long time. And along with the Stedler 2mm lead holder, I go with the Faber-Castell kneaded eraser. There's something about them, they're just unbelievable. They're so much better than the competitors out there. They really do pick up a lot of the lead. So anyway, nonetheless, I just thought I'd reflecting on the last drawing for the year, sort of. I do illustrate these cartoons for a online publication, or a website, mainly. And I was just thinking back about the year that was or was not 2020. To me, it's sort of a voided check of a year. I'm kind of in favor of not aging a year. I think everybody should just remain the same age they were in 2019. But that's just me. So, just thinking about the year. Thinking about how would I illustrate this, like it's something that's coming to an end. And it just seemed like, and I had said it for a long time, that when the quarantines were kicking in, the pandemic was going crazy, that it just was almost like, if Thanos had snapped his fingers, I really wish I had seen it, because that's what it seemed like. It just seemed like everything had turned to dust. Restaurants, movies. Big fan of movies, and not to be able to get to them was really a rough thing. Then again, been much worse things in history. British people had to put up with constant bombing from the Nazis during the Blitz for 5 straight years. Entire neighborhoods were leveled. And for us, it was much more of an economic social problem. The lack of just random hugs and handshakes. For me, that was the biggest surprise, was realizing how important hugging people was to me. I never really thought of it, but I guess I'm a big hugger, I'm a big handshaker, I like to clown around, and not to be able to do that was a real drag. I'm really curious as to the people that watch this, how did you feel about 2020? Because certainly there are plenty of people that they don't really like to go out much to begin with, so they weren't exactly hating life, having to have these restrictions put into place. And a lot of people, frankly, who, were just starting out in the arts, whether they were hairdressers or tattoo artists, when they were forced to not work and they were claiming unemployment, they actually did a lot better than they would have done had they worked. And it also gave them time to get better at their skills so that when things do come back, they'll be in a much better place, making better money. So for them, it worked out. I know for me, it was a big drag, man. I had 24 jobs that had gone away. And then that's when the illustration really started to pick up. But for this, I thought it'd be funny if sort of showed the resilience of us and had Thanos snapping his finger and having 2020 disappear into dust. And it did not finish us off. I'm not going to sit here and say that, we're stronger for it, because we're not. I don't believe that we are stronger. Having our economy destroyed, having people committing suicide, which definitely was a sad side effect of this. And I understand it was a very bleak time, and you just didn't have the contact that you needed to have. I get it. But anyway, I guess not to drag things out, make it a downer video, but I guess we should focus on the drawing here. As you notice, that hand is way too tiny. But I liked it. It's kind of like, I do have a plan with these, and even though I do like to just draw things traditionally and then use a light box and transfer the pencil to the final inked page through a light box, I figured, well, I got a computer, I do have Photoshop and all that, so maybe I will scan it, shrink his head, or maybe make his hand bigger, and then print it up, transfer it with the light box, which is eventually what I will show you how I did that. But I'm a big fan of Thanos. Not to say that I'm that big of a Marvel Universe fan, but I do have to say that Thanos wasn't wrong. In the first one, he pretty much had a good point. Also, he's the only one that got what he wanted. If he got what he wanted, then I guess you could say he's the hero. That's definitely a big debate. To me, it's not much of a debate. I think he was the hero of Infinity War. Here I'm redrawing the hand. Again, just trying to get better at the whole thing of like saying, it's not going well, it's just time to sort of scrap a lot, but the face I liked still, and just trying to find the brain to work in terms of finding a reference from what I could remember what it looked like. And finger snapping in a big gauntlet is actually pretty tough to get right, because there's a lot of moving parts to it. I think I did an okay job. I mean, a lot of people who know me know that this is not really my first job. I was in a totally different line before, and then this is more of, and I hate to use the term journey, but it sort of is a journey. It's just to see if you do something enough, will you actually get really good at it? And I think people that follow this can see that there is a bit of an improvement. There's a bit of an improvement between the first cartoons and what I'm doing now. It's certainly a lot more complicated stuff. When I first started out, like many people, I just basically wanted to do things with very few backgrounds and just keep things very simple. This one has a simple background too, but time wasn't exactly on my side. Here we go with the transfer. I had basically scanned pencil drawing in and adjusted a lot. I shrunk it down from its original size so that it could be a little bit smaller. The smaller the pencil sketch, the smaller the ink, the less time you're going to spend on something. And I have deadlines for these drawings. I try to get everything done Thursday night, uploaded Friday morning-ish, and then Saturday, I believe they get run. I'm starting to really enjoy the process that I've kind of developed, which is to do pencil sketch loose, and then just, obviously tighten it up with the inks, but I find that just not taking it too seriously with the pencils is a big help. I mean, it really does help. Understanding that ink that is coming down the road is, number one, that's really where you need to focus the most on. But if you don't have a good pencil sketch, you don't have anything. You're not going to have anything to ink. It's not going to hold together. But just going in relaxed helps a tremendous amount. And this isn't the end of the world, even if it isn't up to what you want it to be. This is just drawing, man. I mean, there could be worse ways of making money. Take it easy and enjoy it. Here we go with the Stedner fine liners. I got these on a really good sale. And I gotta say, I like them a lot. They feel a lot better in the hand than microns. Microns to me were a little too slick, and they would always fall out of my hand, like all the time without fail. And then you'd end up with a huge line across your paper. I'd like to start things off with number 3, because I think it's a good middle ground, and then from there you can obviously beef up the lines with the 1, the 5, or the 7. And you can also go really thin with the hairline details. One thing that people notice and tend to bring up is the light box is actually a Crayola light box. Got this for my son, which I don't think he ever used, but I figured, hey, light box is a light box. And I started using it a lot, and it actually does come in handy quite a bit. I gotta say, it's not the brightest, you can't control it, but if you do work in a fairly dim room, it is plenty. You can certainly go through mixed media paper, 2 layers of that. You can even get thick Bristol to shine through it. It's actually a pretty versatile thing. Every so often, toys do come out, and professionals can actually use them because they're pretty inexpensive, and they also do the trick. So why make things more complicated than they need to be, and certainly why spend more money than you have to? There's plenty of things, as you know, in the arts that just are overpriced. They don't need to be that expensive, and I'm all for using childish products to get across what I need to get across. Here's some French curves that I picked up over at an art supply center called Plaza. I don't know if, depending on where you are viewing the video, but Plaza's a pretty decent place, I gotta say. They always have sales. Of course, the number 1 place for sales is Michael's. If you have Michael's around your neighborhood, you know what I mean. There's always some kind of 40% off, 20% off coupon. Definitely take advantage of it if you can. And here we go with the digital coloring. For this, I was using Photoshop, and like so many times, I forgot to record the basic fill-in of the main subject. So we're gonna get a little bit too late, but at least I got the flats in, and starting to add a bit of the shadow and the shading. I like to go with just darker or lighter versions of the actual subject color. I know a lot of people like to use black and white through a adjustment layer. Not so much into that. I'm not too savvy on anything really. I'm not really a master of much, but I like to experiment with things, and then when I find something that I think sort of works, I just stick with it. It's fine. Gauntlet, obviously, for somebody who isn't really an illustrator, I think it's okay. There's plenty of things wrong with it, but you get the idea as to who it is and what it is, and that's the main point. But enough about me. What are you guys up to? Put stuff in the comments. I'm always curious as to what people think or what they're doing. How was 2020 for you? Like I said, it's not all about gloom and doom. There's a lot of people that did do pretty well for themselves, even though everybody was sort of suffering. I think we've all known somebody that knew somebody that passed away, so of course it's just a tragedy in its own right. But let me know. Yeah, I'm always curious. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Like I said, please hit that subscribe and like button, and I will see you on the next one. I'm definitely taking shots at Ellen Page, but I don't know if I'm going to load that up first or second. But nonetheless, I got about 3 or 4 videos in the old pipeline, and I'm looking forward to getting them out. Hope you guys are doing well. Peace out.